Hi, dear language learners. How to beat fear and social stress in language learning. Hi, I'm Dr. Alex. I'm a social psychologist and I use the fundamental laws of social psychology to make your learning process far more enjoyable, more fun, and to have you speak with unshakable confidence. Now, before we dive in, also don't forget to download your copy of Everyday Nano. This is the 7 steps to fluency available with the link in the description. Now, let's be completely honest. This is one of the biggest breaks, actually, of language learning progress, which is the fear of failure. We all have it. But the thing is, once we know that there is a social psychology behind it, we can actually beat it and by making, I was going to say beat it and overcome it. No, that would be a lie. We can actually use it as our ally. So I'm going to explain to you today what is the social psychology behind this. I'm going to share with you 3 hacks I use, my favorite ones, to actually work with it and to become far more easy about it in your next challenge with a new language. So let's start. Number one. Number one is actually acknowledging this fear of failure as an intellectual fear, as a social fear, and distinguishing it from life-threatening fear. So there is different types of fear. But the worst one, and that we should simply not ignore at all, is the one that are life-threatening fears or fear of losing your life, basically. So when a tiger is chasing you, your body will put everything into place for you to escape really quickly from that situation. So that's a fear of threat for your life. And that is what we're not talking about today. What we're talking about is, and that's the realization, the social psychology of socially learned fears is a complete different one. It's an intellectual fear that you can actually start to work with. So we all have that kind of fear of embarrassing ourselves in front of others and feeling you have to uphold your social image, that kind of thing. It's something if you watch children at the beginning of their, well, let's say in their early years, they don't have that yet. It's only with kind of watching adults and watching other people around them, they start to develop also that fear of embarrassing themselves, that fear of, I would call it losing your face, because we all have learned we want to look good in front of others. We all have this social identity. Please also feel free, I can't talk today. Feel free to watch my video on the social identity theory, which is basically we learn over the years and we kind of adapt to a certain social identity that we want to portray and that we want to believe in, depending on the social group we belong to. And that image we want to uphold, it's normal. We don't want to kind of lose our face in front of the others. So once we accept that and we become aware of that, whenever that feeling creeps in of, oh my God, I'm just ridiculous, I'm embarrassing myself, of course, it's not true. Be aware of it and tell yourself that this is what I do, and that's the hack number one. I tell myself it's just not true. I'm not embarrassing myself. You know, the socially learned fear is actually something that is not true because the other person might completely live that same situation in a different way. So telling yourself that this is now, okay, this is what I'm feeling here. I should not deny it, but it's something that the other person might not perceive like you. So it's a social fear. And then what you can do as a next step is call it out. This takes a lot of courage. And of course, developing that, calling it out is only possible if you are with people in a psychologically trusted situation, in a safe space where you actually feel courageous enough to do that. So I will share in my next hack actually how to do that with people that you don't know that well yet and you don't feel confident to share your feelings with them. But if you are with a person where you feel confident to do that, calling it out is a really good strategy to work with that fear. So what you might say is, I'm feeling a bit nervous here because this is the first time, or this is a new way for me to speak in that language. Can you help me with that? Or, I'm not really confident about saying this in this language. Can you help me with that? And you will be amazed how the other person will react. I mean, there's so many situations I lived through where I just felt so much in freeze mode because I thought, oh God, it's just I will embarrass myself because, or even I was doubting that the other person will understand me. Um, and once I told the other person in broken whatever language I was learning at the moment, the other person opened up to me, and that created bonding and trust. And believe me, this is worth it because you will just, I mean, your energy will just go up so much because once you feel the other person is understanding you, you will just go on a totally different level of positive energy, of vibration, and your body will start to relax. So that was the second one, the second hack I use. And the third hack is actually, so I promised you, what do you do in situations where you don't feel that confident of letting the other person know your feelings? Well, that is pivoting. You can use pivoting to actually change the context. Pivoting means completely disrupting your situation that you're living through at the moment and change the context. So you might ask the other people you're with, I'm so sorry, can I just step out of the room for a second? I just need a second. And what you do is you go outside, you start moving. So bodily movements help whenever you feel that fear creeping in. And what I do is, for example, I used that last time that I had to give a big talk in front of people in a language that I felt, I felt confident, but still I had that fear creeping in for whatever reason. It just exists. We all have it. And I stepped out and I was walking up and down, and I also jumped up and down, well, in a corner where nobody could see me. But this helped me in that situation to actually get my bodily energy back to normal because I felt so in freeze mode that I couldn't stand it. But still, I also with that kind of pivoting, what I did was I told myself that I'm in control and not the fear. So pivoting helps you to get your body back. I call that. It's basically because what fear does, it sends out these hormones and it makes you kind of freeze and you start to feel all kind of not your normal self, if you know what I mean. Please, dear viewers, share in the comments how you deal with situations like that. How does this resonate with you? What do you normally do? And what would you like to add to it? That would really make my day, because what I want to do with this channel is I want to create a community around these common situations that we all have. And what I feel, we talk too little about it because we feel we have to hide that and not show that. And it's not true. So in general, this could be a bonus tip if you like. My belief is the more we are generous with talking about our feelings, how we feel in a certain situation, the more it creates bonding and positivity. And that can help so much. So let me know how that resonates and see you next time. Thank you for watching.